How are you guys doing? Today is Monday, May 2nd, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from the very first day of May 2021. Taking a look at where we are in the calendar year, we are in the second round of the NBA playoffs where only 8 teams are remaining, but it's going to be a couple weeks until we see teams eliminated. Taking a look at what's going on in the NHL regular season is over as we advance to the Stanley Cup playoff, and I will follow this up with a preview of the Stanley Cup first round. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB season is well underway as it is entering its second month of the year, as it's of course going to go on until October. Taking a look at what's going on with FIFA, we are entering about the last weekend. We're coming off of one of the last weekends of soccer as teams are starting to win their domestic titles and they're starting to seed themselves out for continental tournaments. With that said, taking a look first at what's going on with basketball, there were 2 second round game ones that took place yesterday as the other game ones start today. The first one took place in Boston as the second seed Boston Celtics hosted the 3 seed defending champs Milwaukee Bucks. The Celtics made it here after they swept the 7 seed Brooklyn Nets, and the Milwaukee Bucks were able to make it here after they were able to beat the Chicago Bulls in their series in 5 games. In game 1 of the second round, the Celtics would fall short at home as the Bucks beat them 101-89. They won this game by 12 after they outscored the Celtics by 10 points in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the second seed Celtics were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward out of Duke. Jason Tatum finished with 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 40 minutes. He shot 6 for 18 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and 5 for 8 from the free throw line. Their starting center, Al Horford, finished with 12 points and 10 rebounds alongside 2 blocks in 36 minutes. He shot 4 for 11 from the field. Their starting shooting guard, Jaylen Brown, finished with 12 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and 7 turnovers in 38 minutes. Their starting point guard, Marcus Smart, finished with 10 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 33 minutes. And then their point guard off the bench, Derek White, would go on to finish with 10 points for himself off the bench. He did all of this in 16 minutes. On the winning end of this matchup, the 3 seed defending champs Milwaukee Bucks were led in scoring by their starting point guard, Drew Holiday. He finished with 25 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 8 for 20 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and he made all 6 of his free throws. Their elite starting power forward out of Greece, Giannis Antetokounmpo, would finish with 24 points, 13 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 blocks, and 5 turnovers in 38 minutes. He shot 9 for 25 from the field and 6 for 11 from the free throw line. Their starting center, Bobby Portis, finished with 15 points and 11 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 6 for 12 from the field and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Their shooting guard off the bench out of Duke, Grayson Allen, finished with 11 points and 3 steals in 29 minutes. With this win, the 3 seed Milwaukee Bucks now hold a 1-0 series lead over the 2nd seed Celtics. They are 3 wins away from the Eastern Conference Finals. With this loss, the Boston Celtics are trailing 1-0. They have to win 4 of the next 6 games if they want to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for a chance to face off with either the Miami Heat or the Philadelphia 76ers. Taking a look at the second game that happened yesterday, it was the second 2-3 matchup of the day. The second seed from the Western Conference, Memphis Grizzlies, hosted the 3 seed Golden State Warriors. This comes after the Grizzlies beat the 7 seed Minnesota Timberwolves in 4. The 3 seed Golden State Warriors were able to they're into this round after they went on to beat the 6 seed Denver Nuggets they beat them in 5 games. The Warriors would win game 1 of the series, 117-116. They won it by 1. The difference would be the third quarter where they outscored the Grizzlies by 7 points. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown 2 seed Grizzlies were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, Ja Morant, out of Murray State. Ja Morant finished with 34 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, and 3 steals in 38 minutes. He went on to shoot 14 for 31 from the field, 4 for 11 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the foul line. Their starting power forward, Jaren Jackson Jr., finished with 33 points and 10 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 10 for 18 from the field, 6 for 9 from 3, and 7 for 9 from the free throw line. Their shooting guard off the bench, DeAnthony Melton, finished with 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals in 25 minutes. Their power forward off the bench, Brandon Clark, finished with 12 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 31 minutes. On the winning end of this matchup, the 3-seed Warriors were led in scoring by their shooting guard off the bench, Jordan Poole. He finished with 31 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 blocks in 38 minutes. He shot 12 for 20 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and he made both of his free throws on the night. Their goated starting point guard, Stephen Curry out of Davidson, finished with 24 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists in 37 minutes. He shot 8 for 20 from the field, 5 for 12 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their all-star starting small forward, Andrew Wiggins, finished with 17 points and 8 rebounds in 34 minutes. He shot 6 for 14 from the field, and 1 for 5 from 3, and 4 for 7 from the free throw line. Their elite starting shooting guard, Klay Thompson, finished with 15 points, 3 assists, and 2 steals in 31 minutes. He shot 6 for 19 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3. And then their all-star starting power forward, Draymond Green, went on to finish with 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 5 turnovers in 17 minutes. Draymond shot 2 for 3 from the field and 2 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the 3-seed Golden State Warriors now lead this series 1-0. They are 3 wins away from the Western Conference Finals, where they would get a chance to play against either the Phoenix Suns or the Dallas Mavericks. With this loss, the Grizzlies are trailing 0-1 as they have to win 4 of their next 6 games if they want to advance to the next round. So that's what the NBA is looking like following the first game ones of the playoff or of the second round. Taking a look at what's going on today, we're going to see the other game ones as the first seed Miami Heat are going to host the 4-seed Philadelphia 76ers in FTX Arena. This is coming after the Miami Heat were able to beat the 8-seed Atlanta Hawks in the first round in 5 games. The Philadelphia 76ers were able to beat the 5-seed Toronto Raptors in 6 games. If I had to guess how this series is going to go, I think the Sixers are going to win because they have star power and size, but with Embiid out, actually, no, I think the Heat should take this series if Joel Embiid's going to be out with an orbital bone fracture. But then taking a look at what's going to be right after that, 10 o'clock on TNT on the same network, the 1-seed Phoenix Suns, who held the best record in the NBA this season, are going to host the 4-seed Dallas Mavericks in the Footprint Center. This comes after the Suns and the Mavericks were able to win their series in 6 games. The Mavericks beat the 5-seed Utah Jazz, and then the Suns were able to beat the 8-seed New Orleans Pelicans. So, of course, all these teams best of 7 series. As of right now, the sweep is still available for every single team that's in it. And at the very least, this round should take about a week. Taking a look at what's going on in the NHL. Yesterday was the last game of the NHL season as the Jets were able to beat the Kraken 4-3 after scoring 3 goals in the third period. Today is going to be the very first day of Stanley Cup playoff matchups. The very first match is going to be taking place at 7 o'clock on ESPN in PNC Arena as the Carolina Hurricanes are going to be hosting the Boston Bruins. The Carolina Hurricanes come into this matchup holding the number 1 seed in the Metropolitan Division, and then the Bruins come into this matchup holding the 4th seed in the Atlantic Division. Taking a look at the second game today on ESPN2 at 7:30 in Toronto, the Toronto Maple Leafs, who hold the second best record in the Atlantic Division, are going to host the Tampa Bay Lightning, who come into this matchup with the third best record in the Atlantic Division. Taking a look at the third game of the day at 9:30 on ESPN in the XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minneapolis, the Minnesota Wild, who come into this matchup with the second best record in the Central Division, are going to be facing off against the Minnesota Wild, who come into this matchup with the second best record in the Central Division moving in. And then last but not least, at 10 o'clock, the Edmonton Oilers, who come into this matchup holding the second best record in the Pacific, are going to host the Los Angeles Kings, who came into this matchup with the third best record in the Pacific. So there's a lot going on between all these teams as we are getting ready to get into Stanley Cup playoff. There are 16 teams that are left competing for that Stanley Cup title, and of course we're going to navigate through it one day at a time. Taking a look now at what happened in the MLB, starting off in Baltimore, the Baltimore Orioles hosted the Boston Red Sox. After the Red Sox scored the first run of the game, the Orioles would score 9 unanswered in the 5th and 6th innings, as they would take the lead off of a 2-run single from Tyler Nevin. On the losing end of this matchup, the Red Sox would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Nick Pivetta. He allowed 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 4.1 innings he pitched. He would strike out 5, and with this loss, he's now 0-4. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Rafael Devers, went 2 for 5 with a run. Their elite designated hitter, JD Martinez, went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run as he hit his second home run of the season. Their left fielder in this matchup, Jalen Davis, would go 2 for 4. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Baltimore Orioles would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Jordan Lyles. Lyles allowed 1 earned run off of 7 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He struck out 6 batters and then walked 3. With this win, Jordan Lyles is 2-2. In the Orioles batting lineup, their center fielder, Cedric Mullins, would go 2 for 5. Their right fielder, Anthony Santander, went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run. Their second baseman, Rougned Odor, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his first home run of the season. Their shortstop in this matchup, Jorge Mateo, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the Baltimore Orioles are 8-14. That is currently the worst record in the American League East. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 4 of their last 10. They are currently tied with the Rangers for the second worst, as only the Tigers have a worse record in the... Actually, no, the Tigers and the Kansas City Royals technically have a worse record in the American League than the Baltimore Orioles do. They've won 4 of their last 10. They are sitting 8 full games behind the division-leading New York Yankees. With this loss, the Boston Red Sox are 9-14. That is the 4th best record in the American League East, as they've now lost their last 2 games. They've lost 7 of their last 10. They are now sitting 7.5 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees. Jumping out to Tampa, staying in the AL East, the Rays would go on to host the AL Central leading Minnesota Twins. The Twins would go on to beat the Rays 9-3 as they scored 5 runs in the very first inning of the game. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Tampa Bay Rays would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Josh Fleming. Fleming allowed 5 earned runs, 6 total runs off of 5 hits in 3.2 innings. He would strike out a batter and walk 3 before he was pulled in the 4th inning. With this loss, Josh Fleming is 2-3. In the Rays batting lineup, their elite left fielder and the reigning American League Rookie of the Year, Randy Arozarena, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Minnesota Twins would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Josh Winder. Winder allowed no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 7 batters and then walk 1. With his win, Winder is 1-0. In the Twins batting lineup, their center fielder, Byron Buxton, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 7th home run of the season. Their elite shortstop, Carlos Correa, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their pinch running designated hitter, Trevor Larnach, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Their second baseman, Jorge Polanco, went 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run. And then the Twins left fielder for the day, Gilberto Celestino, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are 13-9. That is the best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 9 of their last 10. They are now currently sitting 3 games ahead of the second place Cleveland Guardians within their division, just to get a sense of where they are. Right now, they are holding on to the 4th best record in the American League as they sit behind the New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Angels, and the Toronto Blue Jays. With this loss, the Tampa Bay Rays are 12-10. They are currently holding on to the 3rd best record in the American League East, tied with the Mariners for the 5th best record in the entire league. The Rays have now lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 4 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 4 full games behind the division-leading New York Yankees. Jumping out to Pittsburgh, the Pirates hosted the San Diego Padres. The Padres would go on to beat the Pirates 5-2. They would go on to, of course, score their first 3 runs before the Pirates could score their lone 2. And on the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Pittsburgh Pirates would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller would allow 1 earned run off of 5 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters, and with this loss, he's 0-4. In the Pirates batting lineup, their first baseman Yoshi Tsutsugo went 2 for 4. And then the Pirates right fielder Jack Sowinski would end up going 2 for 3 with a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the San Diego Padres would see the win go to their starting pitcher Joe Musgrove. Joe Musgrove would allow 1 earned run off of 7 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. He would strike out 8 batters, and with this win, Joe Musgrove is 4-0. The save would end up going to the Padres closer Taylor Rogers. Rogers allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 2. This would be his 9th save of the year. In the Padres batting lineup, their center fielder Trent Grisham went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Their catcher Austin Nola went 2 for 4 with 3 runs. Their second baseman in this matchup, CJ Abrams, ended up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the San Diego Padres are 15-8. That is currently the second best record in the National League West. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. Win percentage-wise, they are tied with the Milwaukee Brewers for the 4th best record in the league. With 1 more win and 1 more loss than the division-leading Dodgers, they are sitting second with them, and they are sitting half a game ahead of the 3rd-place San Francisco Giants. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are 9-13. They are tied with the Chicago Cubs for the 3rd best record in the National League Central. The Pirates have lost 6 of their last 10 games. They are currently sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. Jumping out to what's going on in Canada, the Toronto Blue Jays hosted the reigning American League champs, the Houston Astros. After the Astros tied the game up at 2 in the top of the 7th, the Blue Jays would take the lead in the bottom of the 7th off of an RBI single from Santiago Espinal that would win them the game. On the losing end of this matchup, the Houston Astros were led out by their starting pitcher, Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez picked up his second loss of the season as he allowed 3 earned runs off of 2 hits in 6.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and then walk 2, and with this loss, he's 1-2. In the Astros batting lineup, their third baseman, Aledmys Diaz, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their right fielder, Kyle Tucker, went 3 for 4 with a run. Their second baseman, Nico Goodrum, went 2 for 3 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Toronto Blue Jays at home were led out by their starting pitcher, Kevin Gausman, who picked up his second win of the season. Gausman allowed 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. He would strike out 10 batters. With this win, he's now 2-1. The save would go to the Blue Jays closer, Jordan Romano. Romano would allow no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 9th inning as he would pick up a strikeout. This would be his 11th save of the year. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their lead shortstop, Bo Bichette, went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the season in the 6th. With this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are 15-8. That is the second best record in the American League East, and they are currently tied with the Angels for the 3rd best record in the American League. The Blue Jays have now won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They are currently sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading New York Yankees at the moment. With this loss, the Houston Astros are 11-11. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 3.5 games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Angels. Jumping out to Miami, the Marlins hosted the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners would end up beating the Marlins 7-3 as they would go on to score their first 5 runs of the game before the Marlins scored their first. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Marlins would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara would pick up his 5th. He will allow 5 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5.2 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters and then only walk 4. With his loss, Alcantara is 2-1. In the Marlins batting lineup, their second baseman, John Berti, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. Their first baseman, Garrett Cooper, went 2 for 4. Their left fielder and former World Series MVP, Jorge Soler, would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the Seattle Mariners would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Logan Gilbert. Gilbert allowed 1 earned run off of 3 hits in the 5.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 5 and then walk 4, and with this win, he's now 4-0. On the winning end of this matchup, the second baseman, Adam Frazier, would go 2 for 4 with a run. Their left fielder, Jesse Winker, went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their shortstop, J.P. Crawford, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 4th home run of the season. Their center fielder, Julio Rodriguez, went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as their rookie hit his first career home run for the Seattle Mariners. With this win, the Mariners are now 12-10. That is now the 2nd best record in the American League West. They've won 5 of their last 10 games, and they now sit 2.5 games behind the division-leading LA Angels. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are 12-9. That is the second best record in the National League East. They've only lost 2 of their last 10 as it put an end to, I believe, the longest active winning streak in baseball up until yesterday. The Miami Marlins are currently trailing the New York Mets by 3 games in the division. Taking a look at what happened in Chicago, the White Sox would host the LA Angels. The Angels would end up beating the White Sox 6-5. They ended up scoring the first 6 runs of the game, 2 of them in the ninth, before the White Sox scored 5 runs in the ninth. It just wouldn't be enough. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Chicago White Sox will see the loss go to their starting pitcher, former Cy Young winner Dallas Keuchel. He allowed 4 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would strike out a batter and then walk 5. With this loss, Dallas Keuchel is 1-3. In the White Sox batting lineup, their elite shortstop Tim Anderson went 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their center fielder Luis Robert went 2 for 5. Their right fielder Gavin Sheets went 2 for 4 with a run. And then their third baseman in this matchup, Josh Harrison, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the Los Angeles Angels will see the win go to their starting pitcher, Michael Lorenzen. Michael Lorenzen will go on to allow 3 earned runs off of 9 hits in the 8.1 innings he pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and then walk 2, as with this win, he's now 3-1. The save now went to the Angels closer, Ryan Tepera. He got the last out of the day. He picked up his first save. On the winning end of this matchup, or on the batting lineup, their right fielder, Taylor Ward, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their goated center fielder, Mike Trout, would end up going 2 for 2 with an RBI and 3 runs as he was walked 3 times. He hit his 6th home run of the season. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are 15-8. That is the best record in the American League West. They are tied with the Blue Jays for the second best record in the American League. The Angels have won 7 of their last 10 games. They are now sitting 2.5 games ahead of the second-place Seattle Mariners in their division. Taking a look at where the White Sox are following this loss, they are now 8-13. That is the third best record in the AL Central, as they have now lost 8 of their last 10 games. They are now sitting 4.5 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins at this time. Taking a look at what happened in Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals ran into the hottest team in baseball, the New York Yankees. The Yankees would end up beating the Royals 6-4 as their winning streak stretches to 9. The Royals were up 4-1 in the 4th inning. The Yankees would take the lead in the 7th off of an fielder's choice reached by Josh Donaldson. And then Aaron Judge's home run in the 9th would be the cherry on top. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Kansas City Royals would be led out by their starting pitcher, Daniel Lynch. Daniel Lynch would go on to allow 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and then walk 1. The loss would go to the Royals' second relief pitcher on the day, Dylan Coleman. Dylan Coleman would allow 2 earned runs off of no hits, as he would not register a single out in the 7th inning. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Royals batting lineup, their shortstop, Nicky Lopez, went 2 for 5 with a run. Their elite second baseman, Whit Merrifield, went 2 for 4. Their center fielder, Michael Taylor, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his second home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the New York Yankees would be led out by their starting pitcher, Luis Severino. Severino allowed 4 runs off of 7 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and then walk 1. The win for the Yankees went to their first relief pitcher, Clark Schmidt. Schmidt would allow no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 6th inning. He would strike out a batter, and with his win, he's now 2-2. The save for the Yankees went to their elite closer, Aroldis Chapman. He allowed no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 9th inning as he walked a batter. This would be his 6th save of the year. In the Yankees batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Aaron Judge, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 7th and 8th home runs of the season yesterday. Their left fielder, Miguel Andujar, went 2 for 4 with a run. And with this win, the New York Yankees are 16-6. That is the best record in the American League. They are currently holding on to the best record in the majors. They're the only team who's won at least 70% of their games so far. They're holding the longest active winning streak in the majors also, as they are on a 9-game winning streak. I think that's the longest winning streak so far. Don't take my word for that. They've now won 9 of their last 10 games. They are now sitting a game and a half ahead of the second-place Toronto Blue Jays in their division, as the Blue Jays are also tied for the second-best record in the American League. With this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 7-13. That is the fourth best record in the American League Central. They've lost their last 3 games. They've lost 8 of their last 10. They are now sitting 5 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins. Taking a look at what happened in Milwaukee, the Brewers hosted the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs were able to beat the Brewers 2-0, holding the Brewers to only 3 hits all game. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Brewers were led out by their former All-Star Corbin Burnes. Burnes allowed 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. He would strike out 10 batters and then walk 1. With this loss, Corbin Burnes is 1-1. In the Brewers batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit, as that would be attributed to great pitching from the Cubs. The Cubs were led out by their starting pitcher, Marcus Stroman. Stroman would allow no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters and then walk 1. With this win, Marcus Stroman is 1-3. The save would go to the Cubs closer on the night, David Robertson. Robertson allowed no earned runs. He allowed no hits either, as he finished off the 8th and pitched the entire 9th. He picked up his 5th save of the season, as he would pick up 3 strikeouts and a walk. In the Cubs batting lineup, nobody on their team finished with more than 1 hit. Their third baseman, Patrick Wisdom, went 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 9-13. That is currently the 3rd best record in the NL Central, as they are tied with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They've now won 3 of their last 10 games. They are now sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers within their division. And with this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are 15-8. They're still sitting at the top of the NL Central, they are tied with the San Diego Padres for the 4th best record in the National League. They've lost 3 of their last 10 games, as they are currently sitting 2 games ahead of the second-place St. Louis Cardinals in the NL Central. Speaking of the Cardinals hosted and were able to defeat the Arizona Diamondbacks 7-5. The Diamondbacks were scored the first run of the game. The Cardinals would take the lead in the 3rd inning off of a ground out from Tyler O'Neill. The Diamondbacks would take a 4-2 lead and even have it jump up to 5-3. And then the Cardinals would take the lead right back in the bottom of the 7th off of a 2-run home run from Harrison Bader. On the losing end of this matchup, the Diamondbacks were led out by their starting pitcher, Zach Davies. Zach Davies would allow 2 runs off of 3 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and then walk 1. The loss would go to the Diamondbacks setup relief pitcher, Keenan Middleton. Keenan Middleton would allow 2 earned runs off of 2 hits, as he started off the 8th and would not finish it. He would strike out 2 batters. He picked up his first blown save of the season, and he picked up his first loss. He's now 0-1 in the 2022 season. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, their only player with more than 1 hit in this matchup was their center fielder, Jordan Luplow. He was 2 for 4, as he would finish with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He would go on to hit his first and second home runs of the season, and on the winning end of this matchup, the St. Louis Cardinals would be led out by their starting pitcher, Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks would go on to allow 2 earned runs off of 2 hits in 3.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and then walk 2, as he was pulled in the 4th inning. The win was given to the Cardinals setup relief pitcher, Cody Whitley. Cody Whitley allowed no earned runs off of 1 hit in the .1 inning that he pitched, as he struck out a batter, as he finished off the 7th inning. With this win, he's now 2-0. The save for the Cardinals was given to their closer, Ryan Helsley. He allowed no earned runs in the last 2 innings of the game, as he struck out 4, as he picked up his first save of the year. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their catcher in this matchup, Andrew Knizer, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run. And, of course, their elite third baseman, Nolan Arenado, would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He would go on to hit his 6th home run of the season. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 12-9. That is the 2nd best record in the NL Central, as they've won 5 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 2 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are 10-13. That is the worst record in the National League West, as they have now lost 5 of their last 10. They are now sitting 5 games behind the division-leading LA Dodgers and the 2nd-place San Diego Padres for the moment. Taking a look at what happened in Arlington, the Texas Rangers hosted the defending World Series champs, Atlanta Braves, in this interleague matchup. The Rangers would beat the Braves 7-3, as they scored all 7 of their runs in the first 3 innings of the game. On the losing end of this matchup, the Atlanta Braves would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Kyle Muller. Muller allowed 7 earned runs off of 4 hits, as he pitched 2.2 innings. He would strike out 3 batters and then walk 6. as he was pulled in the third inning. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Braves batting lineup, their only player with more than one hit was their shortstop, Dansby Swanson. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Texas Rangers would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Taylor Hearn. Hearn allowed 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters and walk 3. With this win, he's 1-2. In the Rangers batting lineup, their right fielder, Adolis Garcia, went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run. Their elite shortstop, Corey Seager, went 2 for 3. With this win, the Texas Rangers are now 8-14. That is the worst record in the American League West. They are now tied with Baltimore for the third worst record in the American League. They've now won their last 2 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 6.5 games behind the division-leading LA Angels. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are 10-13. That is the 4th best record in the National League East. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 6 games behind the division-leading New York Mets as the defending World Series champs. Taking a look at what happened in Denver, the Colorado Rockies hosted the Cincinnati Reds, one of the coldest teams in baseball, and the Rockies were able to beat the Reds 10-1, scoring 9 of their 10 runs in the first 2 innings. They scored 6 runs in the first inning. On the losing end of this matchup, the Cincinnati Reds would be led out by their starting pitcher, Raver Sanmartin. Sanmartin picked up his 4th loss of the year as he allowed 6 earned runs off of 6 hits. He would walk 2 batters as he wouldn't even make it out the first inning, and with this loss, he's 0-4. In the Reds batting lineup, their third baseman, Brandon Drury, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 4th home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Colorado Rockies were led out by their starting pitcher, Kyle Freeland. Freeland allowed 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. He struck out 4 batters and walked 1. With this win, Freeland is 1-3. In the Rockies batting lineup, their left fielder Connor Joe went 2 for 4 with a run. Their right fielder Randall Grichuk went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 3rd home run of the season. Their center fielder Jonathan Daza would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. Their second baseman Brendan Rodgers would go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a run. And then their designated hitter in this matchup, Elehuris Montero, would end up going 2 for 4. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are 13-9. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They have the longest active winning streak in the National League at the moment. And right now, they are tied with the Guardians for the 2nd longest active winning streak in baseball. Only the Yankees have a longer active winning streak than the Rockies. The Rockies have won 5 of their last 10 games. They are sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading LA Dodgers and the San Diego Padres, or the second-place San Diego Padres. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are 3-19. They have now lost their last 6 games. They are currently holding the longest active losing streak in the National League and in the major leagues as a whole. They've lost 9 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 11.5 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. Taking a look at what happened in San Francisco, in the Bay, the Giants hosted the Washington Nationals. The Nationals would beat the Giants 11-5. The Nats would score 8 runs before the Giants score all 5 of their runs in the 7th inning, as the Giants didn't really have a chance. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Giants were led out by their starting pitcher, Alex Cobb. Cobb picked up his first loss of the season as he allowed 5 runs off of 4 hits. He would not make it out the first inning, and he would walk 3 batters. With this loss, Cobb is 1-1. In the Giants batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit, and that would be attributed to great pitching from the Nationals. The win was given to their starting pitcher, Josiah Gray. Gray allowed no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 3 batters and then walk 4. With this win, he's now 3-2. In the Nationals batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Juan Soto, went 3 for 5 with 3 runs. Their left fielder, Yadiel Hernandez, went 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs. Their center fielder, Victor Robles, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. The Nationals shortstop in this matchup, Lucius Fox, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Washington Nationals are now 8-16. That is the worst record in the National League East. They've won 2 of their last 10 games, and they are now sitting 8.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are now holding on to the 3rd best record in the National League West. They have now lost 4 of their last 10 games, and they now sit half a game behind the division-leading LA Dodgers and the second-place San Diego Padres, just to give you a sense of how close all those teams are to one another. Staying in the Bay, the Oakland Athletics were the other team that to lose at home in that area. As the Guardians were coming into town, they beat the A's 7-3. They would score all 7 of their runs before the A's scored all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the ninth. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Athletics would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, James Kaprielian. Kaprielian allowed 4 earned runs off of 3 hits in the 2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 4. With this loss, Kaprielian is 0-1. In the Athletics batting lineup, their left fielder, Chad Pinder, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Cleveland Guardians would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Triston McKenzie. He allowed no earned runs off of 4 hits in the 6.1 innings he pitched. He would strike out 7 batters and then walk 1. With this win, Triston McKenzie is 1-2. In the Guardians batting lineup, their shortstop, Andres Gimenez, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. And of course, with this win, the Cleveland Guardians are 10-12. That is the second best record in the American League Central. They've now won their last 3 games. They have the second longest active winning streak in the American League behind the Yankees. They've won 3 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 3 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins. With this loss, the Oakland Athletics are 10-12. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They've now lost their last 3 games. They are tied with the Kansas City Royals for the longest active losing streak in the American League. Only the Cincinnati Reds have a longer active winning streak in baseball than the Athletics. The Athletics have lost 7 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 4.5 games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Angels. Jumping out to see what happened in Los Angeles, the LA Dodgers hosted the Detroit Tigers in this interleague matchup. The Dodgers would beat the Tigers 6-3, scoring all 6 of their runs before the Tigers could score. On the losing end of this matchup, the Detroit Tigers were led out by their starting pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez. Eduardo Rodriguez would allow 6 runs off of 8 hits in the 5.2 innings he pitched. He struck out 5 batters, and with his loss, Eduardo Rodriguez is 0-2. In the Tigers batting lineup, their catcher Tucker Barnhart would end up going 2 for 4. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown LA Dodgers were led out by their elite starting pitcher Walker Buehler. Buehler allowed no earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters and walk 1. With his win, he's now 3-1. The save would go to the Dodgers' elite closer, Craig Kimbrell, who finished off the 9th inning. He would allow a walk as well. He picked up his 4th save of the year. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Freddie Freeman, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. He was the only player with more than 1 hit. With this win, the LA Dodgers are now 14-7. Record-wise, that is the best record in the National League West and the second best record in the National League. They have now won 6 of their last 10 games. And because they have 1 less win and 1 less loss than the San Diego Padres, they sit even with them in the playoff race. Both of these teams sit half a game ahead of the 3rd place San Francisco Giants. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are 7-14. That is the worst record in the American League Central. That is the worst record in all of baseball. In all of the American League. The only team that has a worse record than them right now is the Cincinnati Reds, as they are tied with the Washington Nationals for the 2nd worst record in all of baseball. The Tigers have lost 7 of their last 10. They are sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins at this point in the season. Last but not least, jumping out to the New York Mets, the team that has the best record in the National League, went on to host the Philadelphia Phillies, and they would go on to beat the Phillies 10-6. It was a pretty close game, it looked like, for a good chunk of this game, as the lead did go back and forth a little bit. The Phillies were up 3-2 at one point. The Mets would take the lead off of a passed ball that would see Francisco Lindor's score. They would, of course, run away with it after this. On the losing end of this matchup, the Philadelphia Phillies would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin allowed 6 runs off of 8 hits in the 4.1 innings he pitched. He would strike out 3 batters and walk 1, and with his loss, he's 1-2. In the Phillies batting lineup, their left fielder, Kyle Schwarber, went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 6th and 7th home runs of the season. He was the only player with more than 1 hit. Their elite designated hitter and the reigning National League MVP, Bryce Harper, went 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 4th home run of the year. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown New York Mets were led out by their goated starting pitcher Max Scherzer. He allowed 4 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He would strike out 9 batters and walk 1. With this win, Max Scherzer is 4-0. In the Mets batting lineup, their left fielder Jeff McNeil went 4 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their third baseman Eduardo Escobar went 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their first baseman Dominic Smith went 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. With this win, the New York Mets are 16-7. That is the best record in the National League East. They've won 7 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 3 games ahead of the second-place Miami Marlins in their division. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 11-12. That is the third best record in the National League East, as they've lost 4 of their last 10. They are sitting 5 full games behind the division-leading New York Mets. That is what the MLB is looking like following all of these matchups. Taking a look at what's going on today. Today is Monday, so there aren't going to be as many games as it is a travel game. The first game is going to be at 1:15, as this is going to be the Missouri matchup, as Steven Matz and the St. Louis Cardinals are going to host Zach Greinke and the Kansas City Royals. This is going to be a makeup game. At 2:10 on ESPN+, Dylan Cease and the Chicago White Sox are going to host Patrick Sandoval and the Los Angeles Angels, who are leading the American League West. At 6:40, Pablo Lopez and the Miami Marlins are going to host Zach Gallen and the Arizona Diamondbacks, as both of these starting pitchers have ERAs below 1. At 7:05, Tyler Wells and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Chris Paddock and the Minnesota Twins. At 7:07, Ross Stripling and the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Jordan Montgomery and the AL leading New York Yankees. At 7:10, the NL leading New York Mets, led by Chris Bassett, are going to host the defending World Series champs Atlanta Braves, led by Max Fried. At 8:10, the reigning American League champs, Houston Astros, led by Jake Odorizzi, are going to host Marco Gonzalez and the Seattle Mariners. Last but not least, at 9:40, Dalton Jeffries and the Oakland Athletics are going to host Drew Rasmussen and the Tampa Bay Rays. That's what's going on in that league. Taking a look at what's going on outside of the continental U.S. as we go to soccer. Starting first with the Isles. In England, the top team that played yesterday was Chelsea, as they ended up losing 1-0 to Everton, their lone goal coming from Richarlison. With this loss, Chelsea is still sitting third in the Premier League, as they are definitely out of the Premier League title race, but they're still looking to clinch a Champions League spot. They sit 3 points ahead of 4th place Arsenal, and they sit 5 points ahead of 5th place Tottenham, as they are starting to slip. And they still need to compete for a Champions League spot, but they still have a 1-game cushion. The 4th best team in England now is Arsenal, after they were able to beat West Ham 2-1. Their first goal will come in the first half from Rob Holding. Jared Bowen would end the first half with a goal for West Ham. Arsenal will start the second half with a goal from Gabriel. With this win, Arsenal is now sitting 4th, as they are sitting in that Champions League spot, 2 points ahead of 5th place Tottenham, with 4 games left in their schedule. They are also 3 games behind Chelsea, as they possibly could move up into that position as well. The 5th best team in England is Tottenham, as they were able to beat Leicester City 3-1. Their first goal will come from their elite English striker Harry Kane, and they will get a brace in the second half from their elite Korean forward Son Heung-min. With this win, Tottenham sits 5th in England, as they sit 2 points behind 4th place Arsenal. They sit 6 points ahead of 6th place Man United with a game in hand. So it doesn't look like Man United's really in that 3-team race for that last Champions League spot, but Tottenham is most definitely in it, as they have 4 games left and they cannot let up. Jumping to Spain, Barcelona was able to beat Mallorca 2-1, as their first goal will come from Memphis Depay, and their second one will come in the second half from Sergio Busquets. With this win, Barcelona is now currently sitting 2nd in La Liga. They sit 15 points behind Real Madrid, who already won the league. They sit 2 points ahead of 3rd place Sevilla. They sit 9 points ahead of 5th place Real Betis, as Barcelona is probably about 2 more wins away from locking up a Champions League spot, but they have not locked it up yet. Taking a look now at what was able to happen in France, the reigning French champs Lille would lose 3-0 to Troyes. And with this loss, they are now currently sitting in at 10th in all of France. They are currently sitting 9 points from a Europa League qualifying spot with 9 games left in their schedule, as even though they won the championship last year, it looks very unlikely that they're going to be returning to European Conference football. The second best team in France, however, Marseille, would end up losing 3-0 to Lyon, as all of Lyon's goals would come in the second half. They came from Castello Luqueba, Moussa Dembele, and Karl Toko Ekambi. With this win, Lyon is now sitting with the 7th best record in France, as they are 5 points out of Europa League qualifying spots, or at least a Europa Conference League qualifier. Marseille, with this loss, is still holding the 2nd best record in France. They only sit 3 points ahead of 3rd place Rennes. And with 3 games left, they need to win one of these next 2 or a couple of these next 3 games if they want to clinch a Champions League spot. Looking out to see what's going on in Italy, the top team that is coming into Italy today is AC Milan after they beat Fiorentina 1-0. Their lone goal coming in the 82nd minute from Rafael Leao. They are now sitting 2 points ahead of 2nd place Inter. Inter was able to beat Udinese 2-1 yesterday. Their first goal coming from Ivan Perisic. Their second goal coming from their elite Argentinian striker, Lautaro Martinez. With this win, Inter sits 2 points below first place AC Milan with 3 games left in the schedule. They sit 5 points ahead of 3rd place Napoli, as it is almost becoming a 2-team race in Italy, as it is being centered in the city of Milan. The 3rd best team to play yesterday was Juventus, as Juventus is the 4th best team in Italy. They were able to beat Venezia with 2 goals from their birthday boy, the elite Italian defender Leonardo Bonucci, scored in the 77th minute. And then after Venezia would end up tying it up, Bonucci would score in the 76th minute in order to put Juve up and give them the win. So that is what Italy is looking like. And then that is pretty much what I have for you regarding yesterday's matchups. Taking a look at what is going on today, the really big matchup is going to be taking place. There's going to be a few. Starting off in England, Manchester United is going to be hosting Brentford. Manchester United is currently holding on to the 6th best record in the Prem. They only sit 3 points ahead of 7th place West Ham, so this is a big matchup for them. Brentford enters this matchup as the 14th best team in England. Jumping out to Germany, it looks as though that the 3rd best team in the Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen, is going to host Eintracht Frankfurt at 2:30. Frankfurt comes in holding the 10th best record in Germany. Leverkusen is sitting even with SC Freiburg for that record. With a win here, RB Leipzig could jump right back into Champions League contention as they face off against Borussia Mönchengladbach. RB Leipzig sits only 1 point behind 4th place Freiburg, as they have 1 game in hand. So, of course, this is the opportunity for RB Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen to carve at least a better position for them when it comes to clinching a Champions League spot. But that's pretty much everything that I have for you today. As even looking into Italy, Atalanta, the team that is going to be facing off today, is holding the 8th best record, and they're facing off against Salernitana. Salernitana enters this matchup with the 3rd worst record in Italy. But with that said, that is everything that I have for you today for Monday, May 2nd. I am going to follow this up with a preview for the Stanley Cup playoff round. And I do want to thank everyone for listening to this piece. I really do hope all is well. And once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow. Thank you. I want to thank the ESPN, NBA, MLB, NHL, and FIFA sites, because without them, like I said, I wouldn't be able to do this. And with that said, I'm going to continue on. I'll let you continue on with your day. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.